So about 2 months ago, at the end of August, actually August 23rd, Jared Kushner released his book, Breaking History, a White House Memoir. And for the first 2 weeks, not much happened, right? Nobody cared what Jared Kushner had to say about his time in the White House. Nobody has ever really cared what Jared Kushner has had to say about, well, anything. So nobody was buying his book. So he did what anybody in trouble of not having a bestseller would do. He went crying to a wealthy individual, in this case, his father-in-law, Donald Trump. And through a joint political action committee, Donald Trump spent $131,000 at Books A Million to buy copies of Jared Kushner's books. And 4 days after that purchase took place, wouldn't you know it, Jared Kushner's book that nobody wanted to read ended up on the New York Times Bestseller list. But apparently that wasn't good enough. The $131,000 purchase at Books A Million just wasn't quite what they wanted, right? He got on the bestseller list, but you're not a number 1 yet. I mean, I don't even know if you're in the top 5. So, once again, through Donald Trump's joint political action committees, they spent another $27,000 on his books, to kind of bump him up that list, maybe keep him on there another week or so. Whatever it was, nobody wanted Jared Kushner's books, so he had to get daddy-in-law to go out there and buy a bunch of copies of his books from Books A Million. Now, here's the thing. Again, we're talking about, 131 plus 27. So we're talking about $158,000 of donor money that Donald Trump used to bail out his little son-in-law. Now, I wonder if all those people who've been donating money to Donald Trump's political action committee know about this, or if they even care about it. I mean, at this point, you got to assume those people know they're getting ripped off, right? Like, there's no way in hell anybody sending money to Donald Trump, an alleged billionaire, thinks that their money is making a difference, right? They're not like, okay, I'm going to send him this money, and then finally things are going to turn around. No, like, you have to know you're being conned at this point. You're just okay with it because you enjoy it, right? You feel like it gives you some attention from a guy that wouldn't even let you through the back door of his country club. But sure, go ahead and keep sending him your money so he can keep Jared Kushner's book on the bestseller lists, I guess. Now, the problem is this happens all the time. It happens with Democrats. It happens with Republicans. Basically, anybody in politics with a well-funded machine behind them, whether it's a campaign machine, whether they're running a political action committee, or whether they're running an organization that has millions of dollars to throw around, all of them can put out a book and then immediately shoot up to the top of the number 1 bestseller list because they're all buying copies of their own books. The books aren't selling based on their merits. They're not selling because people actually want to read it. They're selling because of these massive bulk purchases by right-wing organizations, by campaigns, by whatever it is. And in order to legally be able to do this, they then use the books as giveaways, right? Like, hey, you donate money to my campaign, I'll send you a copy of my book. Hey, you showed up at my event, we're going to give you a free copy of the book, even though the organization that, is shadow operating my group here, they're the ones who purchased 100,000 copies of it so I could look like a bestseller. That's what happens with these groups and these individuals and these politicians. They buy their own books so they can look like big, massive bestsellers. But there is a catch, at least for politicians or people buying books with political action committees. You can't do it from any group that gives a percentage of the sales back to the individual. Typically, that means you have to purchase from a bookseller. And I know that sounds weird, right? A bookseller. Well, yeah, of course you have to buy books from a bookseller, but you have to buy from an organization that has already purchased their copies of the book. So if Barnes & Noble did not have $158,000 worth of Jared Kushner's books on hand, then they would have had to have ordered more, which of course would then have put money in Jared Kushner's pocket. And if that happened, then this book sale was in fact illegal. Now, we don't know if that happened, but I think an investigation would in fact be warranted, because you purchased the books from from Books A Million. So did they have that many on hand? Or did they have to make an extra bulk purchase and thereby put money in Jared Kushner's pocket? I think that's worth investigating, so let's hope the FEC is paying attention. Not that they do anything about anything anyway, but hey, what's one more investigation into Trump when we've already got about 1,000 of them happening across the country? Hey everyone, this is Aspen. And did you know that for the low cost of $0 per day, you can subscribe to the Fair and Balanced YouTube channel? We also encourage you to like, comment, and share, but again, click that subscribe button and help Aspen not be so grumpy.